Hey everybody! I'm here today to talk to you about a patio umbrella that is not opening. I'll specifically be showing you and telling you some easy ways to fix it in this very simplistic tutorial. Let's get into this instructional video tutorial. What I have here is the lower portion, or I should say the inner portion of my patio umbrella in my backyard. Now obviously if your patio umbrella is not opening, if you cannot open it, then you probably won't have as easy access to this as I do right now, but I'm gonna do it like this just to show you what I would do if it wouldn't open. Okay, so I'm gonna bring it down a little bit so I know the lighting is a little bit worse now, but I need to show you including the actual canopy portion. So I'll give you 4 simple fixes that you can try out. Number 1, the first thing that you want to try is to unwind it and then turn it the other way. So essentially, if it doesn't open up, like there's a certain way usually to open up a patio umbrella like this, right? And it's labeled on here, but a lot of patio umbrellas, believe it or not, if you crank them all the way down and then you crank them in the reverse direction, a lot of them actually have a feature that will open them up. So they work kind of either way. They just keep going kind of up and down. It kind of depends on the crank, but a lot of patio umbrellas, if you crank it down, it's going to, if you crank down the, sorry, I just saw a guy walk next door, just scared me. Sorry, man. You don't mind being on video, right? Okay, no, it's okay, you freaked me out. My neighbor's having some work done and a guy just walked by. It took me by surprise. If you crank it down past the crank where it's all the way down, then it's gonna end up cranking back up. So instead of trying to crank it up like this, try and crank it down and then go either up, or just try and crank it down and go past the downward point. So try and go like in the reverse direction. Try that out. If that doesn't help you out, move on to fix number 2, which is to put some lubricant on the crank. So here's the crank right here. You want to put some lubricant on here. Now, the key here is you don't want to put a lot on here, and you want to try for something that is not very watery. There are a lot of like drier based lubricants, like silicone based lubricants that you can try out. You want to avoid something that is super watery because it does run based on a cord, as you can see up here. That cord right there, you kind of can see it right there. That cord right there is actually is what causes it to open up and close. So you don't want to put anything too watery in there. I mean, it's not going to ruin it immediately, but you just don't want to put too much of a watery lubricant. But lubricate the crank. Try that out. If that doesn't help you, I'll move on to fix number 3, which is to gently pull on the actual umbrella. So like I said, I needed you to see the actual umbrella right here. So what you can try and do is grab the actual umbrella and try and sort of swing it up. Now the umbrella is going to have like these canopy portions, as you can see over there. That is the canopy portion, but it's going to have an arm. So like there's an arm over here. I would grab this arm and I would try and actually push it up, right? Try and actually push it up. Now you're not going to use too much force because then you might break the mechanism, but you want to try and push it up along with cranking this. So I would hold the arm and I would push the arm up in the air of the actual canopy on the umbrella while I'm trying to crank this open like that, okay? So give that a try. Hopefully that helps you out. And if that doesn't help you out, move on to fix number 4, which is the last one for this video, which is to apply some inward pressure on the crank handle while you try and crank it. So essentially, here's the crank handle. So instead of just trying to crank it like this, I would put a little bit of pressure using this hand inward on the crank handle and try it out. And if that doesn't help you out, maybe just apply a little bit of outward pressure. Now, you want to be cautious with the outward pressure just because you might break the handle. So just a little bit of outward pressure while you move the crank handle, or you can apply quite a bit of inward pressure because you're just pushing it inwards while you crank the handle. Give that a try. And yeah, like I said, keep your fingers out of the way, obviously, but just get a little bit of inward pressure right here on the center and try and crank it. And the key here is if you can crank it a little bit, then you know the mechanism works. And maybe the rope is getting caught, but if you can just crank it just a little bit, then you know for sure the mechanism works, and then you can narrow it down. If you can't crank it at all, then the mechanism is likely broken or the rope is already caught. So, you have to use your judgment. If you can crank it a little bit, even like this, then you know that the mechanism works, but maybe the rope is caught or tied up or tangled. But if you can't crank it at all, if it's just stuck, then either the mechanism is completely broken or the rope is actually caught or tangled right where you are right at that moment. And that's the case, you try and reverse it a little bit, like I said. And that's it. If you like this video tutorial, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.